this Sunday afternoon. Five-time NBA champion, former league MVP Kobe Bryant died earlier this afternoon in Los Angeles in a helicopter crash. News reports are just coming in among multiple victims. Kobe Bryant on that helicopter. We're going to have Ramona Shelburne join us now from Los Angeles. She is on her way to the scene right now. Ramona, how did you first learn this information and how are you absorbing it right now?
Oh my God. I mean, I was outside playing with my son and I just saw an alert and everyone I called, you get quick voicemails and people close to him are in absolute shock right now. And I can't even process it. I live 10 minutes away from the scene, guys, and I can't even remember how to drive there. It's shocking that Kobe Bryant is gone.
Ramona, he was a father, a husband, an NBA legend, an Academy Award winner, an icon. He did it all in his 41 years. He became an Angelino, even though he wasn't born and raised there. 20 years with the Lakers will make you that. You grew up in the area. In any way, shape, or form here, can you help explain what Kobe meant, not just to the Lakers, but to the entire Southern California community?
Oh, man. I mean, when Kobe was about to retire, I covered him his whole career here in Los Angeles, and everybody was writing retirement stories, right? Everybody was writing, what he meant, putting his career in perspective, and because, he was drafted here as a teenager, right? I mean, I was in high school when he took Brandy to the prom. Okay, so we watched this kid grow up and become a man. He had his ups and downs. He had his he had his glories. You saw him go from boy to man to old man, right? And I remember saying to him, like, we gotta do a story at the end here. We gotta put this all into perspective. And he really wasn't interested at first because he said, everything has been written about me that could be written. I mean, everybody said everything negative, everything positive. What is there left to say? And I said, okay, so what is there left to say? And he said, the only thing I'm interested in is leaving a legacy of telling people how I did it, the parts of me that had to rise to the occasion, how I climbed to this level, how I became the man I am. And when people talk about, like, the Mamba mentality, that's not just about Kobe. Like, people in China know what that is. People in Japan know what that is. People in Africa know what that is. He became a legend. And in a lot of ways, he was writing that legendary story the whole time he was playing. And I think, one of the things that always struck me is Kobe always said, I wrote all my own commercials. I mean, he knew what he was. He knew he was a symbol. He knew he was a legend. He knew what he had to leave to the next generation. And we sat together to do one final story, and it was like a 4-hour interview, guys. And I pushed him on everything to the point where it was uncomfortable, right? And I kept thinking maybe he would get up from this interview, but he liked it. It was almost like we were playing one-on-one, because I think somebody who's lived a life like Kobe, they've thought about all of this, man. He was so self-aware. He was so aware of his own legendary status. And I think he knew that life isn't always perfect, right? That you have to dig down into the depths of your soul sometimes to get through things, to push through things. And even when I would ask him about Colorado, even when I would ask him about the relationship with his parents, he answered. He went there, and it was because he had gone there. And I think he knew that, he had lived a remarkable life, and other people aspire to that. But if you really want to have a life like that, you have to be willing to do all of it, to go through all of it. I can't process the idea that he's gone right now. I really can't. I mean, this guy, he seemed like a legend, right? But in a way, man, like it's a remarkable life that he led, right? I mean, he's 41, 42 at this point. Like, I can't imagine Los Angeles without him. He's like the mayor of Los Angeles, whatever you want to call it, and nothing political, but almost like this spiritual mayor, right? And the city just feels different without him here.
Ramona, that's a good point. You touched on so many aspects of Kobe's life. Of course, you had the situation in Eagle, Colorado, didn't have the best relationship with his family, parents, on again, off again. But in so many ways, he represented Los Angeles in terms of an identity. Yeah, he was Hollywood, but he was also hardworking too. So he could kick it in Beverly Hills, but he could be down in Downey with the fellas as well. The loss that this city will feel with Kobe passing away on this afternoon, how would you sum that up?
I mean, honestly, I think the city's in shock right now. Everyone I've talked to is sending texts saying, like, please tell me this isn't true. Like, nobody can believe this. How could this just happen? And, I think he was on his way to the Mamba Academy in Thousand Oaks. I mean, talk about a guy who's focused, this is what his legend was. Like, he was going to train a new generation of kids, teach them how to be like him. He flies a helicopter because he always flew in a helicopter, guys. Like, he lived in Orange County, and instead of saying, I'm going to be in traffic every day going to Staples Center, he took a helicopter. That was part of Kobe, It was just, like, he did other legendary things as he was living. And, when I remember one of my favorite Kobe stories is he wanted to do something romantic for his wife, and he wanted to prove to her how much he loved her. They were in obviously a really tough time. It was after everything that happened in Colorado, and that he wanted to keep her and stay together. And so he decided he wanted to teach her. He wanted to teach himself how to play piano and play her a song. And I was like, why don't you just get someone to teach you to play piano? And he said, no, it meant more if I taught myself. So he put on Moonlight Sonata and just taught himself how to play that by ear so he could play it for his wife. I mean, who does that? People like Kobe.
Welcome back to KTV. We're so excited to be here. I'm so excited.
KTV, yep. Ready to get it rolling.
Yeah, we calling this segment From Hype to Hope because we're going to talk about different things if we continue to do this subject on things that were hyped in the world and then what we hope to see come from it. And so we know one of the biggest things that people have been talking about is Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, man, that was such a thing that occurred that affected the entire world, man, in a way that I never thought that it would. When I first heard about it on that Sunday, my daughter texted me, and I kind of was like, no, I don't think that happened, because it was like I wasn't seeing nothing on the news. I didn't see anything on the news, and then I was checking my phone just to look at news outlets. Nothing was there, and it just so happened I found out that TMZ just released it, without any kind of filter or anything like that. So it shocked me, man, and I think what hit me the most is, first of all, being a father, and seeing that happen, and then to find out, of course, that his daughter Gianna was also involved in that, along with the other people that we don't want to forget about them either, man. So that was devastating.
Yeah, it was really devastating. And my son texted me because he loves Kobe Bryant. So I thought he was just playing. He was like, no, Mom, I'm serious. And I had texted Apostle like, is this true? And I'm searching all over. Like, I could not leave in front of the TV. He was just such not only a great athlete, but a great human being.
Yeah.
Just all of the different things that he was doing. And just to see him working with his daughter and working with the other girls, getting them ready for the WNBA. It was just such a tragic loss to the world.
To the world,
that many people have that effect on the world.
And I was completely unaware that the things that he was doing with the Mamba mentality, that whole inspirational piece, and the things that he was doing with the WNBA. So he was doing some amazing things in his life after basketball. Now we all know how incredible he was as a basketball player, and the effect that he had with the 5 championships and the multiple MVP honors and things like that. So his basketball ability was ridiculous. Even though I'm still a favorite, Michael Jordan is my favorite. However, Kobe Bryant is a close second.
Yeah, and his work ethic and discipline.
Oh my God.
I heard him say one time that he never relied on the fact that he just had the gift.
Mm-hmm.
He still worked every day as if his gift and talent wasn't there. And it was there, but even as a leader, that makes you feel like don't rely just on your gift, but work hard.
Continue to work.
To do it.
Yeah, that was a story that was told, and it was by Tracy McGrady, and he was saying that it was the All-Star weekend, and of course the All-Star, he was going to have the All-Star game, but after practice, they were all getting ready to go out and hang out and party and things like that. So he was saying, Kobe, you coming? He was like, no, I'm staying in the gym.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? It's All-Star weekend. You can kind of let your head down and do whatever you're going to do.
So, everyone was really talking about how much they miss him, how much they love Kobe. But there was some hype that was negative.
Man.
That Gayle King, who I personally love.
Yeah.
That she said, and we just want to examine that hype that went out. So let's check that video out.
Which one did he sign?
Oh, that one
both
signed.
of them.
For years, WNBA star Lisa Leslie has had Kobe Bryant's jersey on display in her home. But since his death, it's taken on a special meaning.
He will be missed, but he will not be forgotten, that's for sure.
They met when Bryant was only 18 years old, before his rookie season with the Los Angeles Lakers and Leslie's debut with the Sparks. The two quickly became rising stars in LA basketball and grew close.
What do you remember about when you first met him?
I would go to the house and he'd be like, Lise. I'm like, what? Lise, come here. Watch this. So he's watching Jordan videos.
Michael Jordan videos?
Michael Jordan. He's clicking the pause and look, Lise, watch.
So he studied Michael Jordan.
Beyond studied. I mean, he would obsess over watching these videos. He imitated everything Jordan did.
Like?
If you watch Kobe's interviews, like the way he talks, the way he moves his mouth, when he licks his lip, when he puts his tongue out when he played, everything was about Michael Jordan, and that's the player that meant everything to him, and he wanted to be great. Not good, but great, like Michael Jordan.
When people say arrogant and aloof, that's not what you remember about him. I know it's so interesting to people that know him. There is arrogance.
Absolutely, but the arrogance is not in everyday life. The arrogance is in the world of basketball.
On the basketball court, you're saying?
On the basketball court, no. You're not my friend, and I'm not your friend. And it's either kill or be killed. I'm going to attack you. I'm going for the jugular at all times.
What does Kobe's death, what does his loss mean to women's basketball?
He was really making change.
Was he?
Yes, he's
How so?
changing the mindsets of other men more than anybody else. He's validating us, if you will, these young ladies who are out there playing, the fact that he's enjoying and being entertained by great basketball. It made other men feel, I'm hoping, like, what is this about? Like, it's good.
I've heard that sometimes he would spend more time at WNBA games now than he would at the Lakers games. True?
Well, it's true, but I think it's also because Gigi wanted to see certain players, and she was into it. And he talked about just, I remember seeing him, he was like, Lise, she got it. He was just like, she got it.
It's tough, Lisa, looking at the pictures of him and Gigi together, playing basketball, sitting on the sidelines. It really does take your heart and rip it out when I see those pictures.
Yes. We know what Kobe's accomplished, but Gigi she didn't have the full opportunity to do that, because you just know that she had the mentality. Mamacita was going to make it. She was going to be in the WNBA.
It's been said that his legacy is complicated because of the sexual assault charge, which was dismissed in 2003, 2004. Is it complicated for you as a woman, as a WNBA player?
It's not complicated for me at all. Even if there's a few times that we've been at a club at the same time, Kobe's not the kind of guy, never been like, Lise, go get that girl, or tell her, or send her this. I have other NBA friends that are like that. Kobe's, he was never like that. I just never have ever seen him being the kind of person that would do something to violate a woman or be aggressive in that way. That's just not the person that I know.
But Lisa, you wouldn't see it though. As his friend, you wouldn't see it.
And that's possible. I just don't believe that. And I'm not saying things didn't happen. I just don't believe that things didn't happen with force.
Is it even a fair question to talk about it considering he's no longer with us and that it was resolved? Or is it really part of his history?
I think that the media should be more respectful. At this time, it's like if you had questions about it, you've had many years to ask him that. I don't think it's something that we should keep hanging over his legacy. I mean, it went to trial.
Yeah, but it was dismissed because the victim in the case refused to testify, so it was dismissed.
And I think that that's how we should leave it.
It is interesting to me how deeply his death has affected so many different types of people. Why do you think people are so deeply affected, in many cases by a man they did not know?
I really think it's the idea that you rooted for him or you didn't, but that was an emotion evoked either way.
You know what I keep thinking, Lisa, as often as a case, it was probably just another ordinary day for them. And then in seconds, your life is forever changed.
Forever changed. It reminded me about the quote about joy and sorrow are inseparable. And it's just that, like sorrow has been awakened in my life, in their lives, in the world's lives.
Man, thoughts?
Man, that thing is that's disturbing. And, you know, the thing about it is, you know, it was maybe a couple of weeks after his death.
Yeah.
So the timing is terrible. Yeah. You know, and it's something that happened, 17, 18 years ago.
Yeah.
And to ask the question, Lisa Leslie gave a pretty appropriate answer to kind of steer it away from the question, but she had to come back with follow-up questions.
And I think that's what made people so mad, because it was like, okay, you asked the question, we didn't like it, but then you kept going at it. And I just want to know, like, Gayle, what was the mindset of that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, were you thinking, oh, something happened to you, something happened to a friend of you, and you just didn't want to dismiss it? Like, what was in you that made you want to push it this soon to his death?
Absolutely. And it made it appear to be self-serving, more so than anything. Or you were trying to pull an answer out that you wanted to hear to cause a further controversy. But I thank God for Lisa Leslie's poise in answering the question. So I love the fact that she was able to handle the question very well.
She said that y'all had plenty of time to ask him that.
Yes.
So why didn't you ask him that when you was there? Because Gayle, I saw some follow-up saying that she used to hang out with Kobe and all that. So why you didn't get that cleared up while he was here? Absolutely.
She had the opportunity to do so. So, I think we should get some other feedback from some other people.
Yep. Let's go see. My girl Misha here. She is a sports girl just like me. I know they try to make it seem like sports is just for men, but we love sports too.
Yes, we do. Yes. We know our sports.
We do. So I know that you love Kobe.
Yes.
So tell me, what did you think about the hype that went forth from Gayle King after you heard it?
Well, personally, just hearing about it, I just thought it was kind of inappropriate. And I was like, wait a minute, I love Kobe. So my thing is, if you're going to talk about his legacy, talk about his legacy, what he did, the 5 championships, the 18 All-Star games, the 4 MVPs in the All-Star game. Let's talk about that. Talk about the wonderful father he was to his 4 children. Don't bring up something 17 years ago that was only between him and his wife that they squashed a long time ago. Let's talk about his legacy and the great person, how he inspired everybody, how he was teaching his daughter, how, like the Bulls, they had this thing with the triangle offense. So he in turn taught that to his daughter's basketball team. Now men run a triangle offense. He taught it to his girls, and he said they was handling it. And so let's talk about the legacy, the basketball, the good things. Why would you bring up something bad in such a tragic incident?
So being Christians, we want to show Gayle love, even though we didn't like what she did. So what do you hope comes out of this for her? Because, she is getting a lot of backlash. So what do you hope comes out of this for her?
That she would understand the sensitivity of it and how a family is suffering because they have lost their loved one. And so just be careful how you touch on things like that. Just don't bring it up. If you're going to talk about the legacy, like I said, just talk about the legacy and not the bad stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we're supposed to be pumping up people, you know, being encouraging and everything. Don't focus on the negativity. He had so much more better stuff, positive stuff he did. Let's focus on the positive and forget the negative.
Yeah. Thank you, Misha.
Thank you.
I am excited to be sitting here with my friend, my fellow Chicago West Side friend, Della Major in the house. And Della, we have been talking about this issue that has happened as a result of Kobe's death, and then Gayle King's interview with Lisa Leslie, and the things that have transpired after that interview that really just been terrible. So what are your thoughts about things that happen as it relates to that?
Well, you know, I know that she's getting a lot of criticism, not only from the public, and, you know, it is a very sensitive matter, definitely. But when I saw her interview, when she came back on and truly apologized for even just doing the interview and what was actually said, I agree. I think CBS really did throw her underneath the bus. You know, as a reporter, probably as a commentator, you know, they give those questions. They want them to somewhat push the edge. But for them just to abandon her like that, and knowing the fact that that was probably even on her feed, just to ignore her, to abandon her like that was just truly wrong.
Yeah.
But if you really think about it, it was sensitive nature. It pretty much should not have really been brought up at that time. But when you're doing a job, you're doing handling your professional career, you know, those questions are asked.
Yeah.
And it made news for a reason.
Yeah, and I think sometimes, and I think from your perspective, and that's a pretty good perspective that you brought out, because I think Gayle, in our desire for her to be sensitive, she was actually doing her job as a reporter. So yeah, I can get that, but at the same time, but she just pushed that envelope in that question, and it kind of felt to me self-serving. But that's a great perspective. So what would you like to see that happen? So we talk about the hype, but also we talk about the hope. What is the hope that you'd like to see in this scenario?
You know, in this particular case, the situation is in the past. I would like to just to see us move forward. It's been addressed. She has apologized. I would just like for it to be like a little measure now of healing.
Yeah.
For the fact that we could continue to honor that legend, because truly he was a legend.
Absolute legend.
Let's not, continue to rehash the situation, but then let's look at the positive outcome. Let's see and let's talk about his legacy. Let's talk about the daughter who was actually going down into the same path as he were.
Mm-hmm.
Let's bring out the more positive things. Let's talk about what's happening, or what can be the outcome of the situation now. What can we do to be a little bit more sensitive? I think we need to address something even far beyond just not only Kobe, but the whole nature as far as what media is concerned. You know, how they do the reportings, and not only just that negative, but let's really focus on, the positive. Let's focus on what can we do now to not only help his family, but also the 7 other families whose lives was affected by this tragedy.
Yeah.
We need to really look beyond the negative, and let's really bring about some positives.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you, Della, for stopping by and hanging out with us and sharing your perspective. You're welcome.
Hey, Matt, thank you for being with me.
Of course.
I have a question, because we've been talking about the Gayle and the Kobe side, but there was another person who got into this, and that was Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg made some comments about Gayle, even though we probably can understand why, it was still very harsh. So what is your perspective about that?
Well, I think that Snoop Dogg probably came from everybody else's perspective, where it was really raw and kind of just gave how everybody else felt about it. Because I don't know, no one else was really going to say it, except for somebody like Snoop. So I think his approach was probably a little harsh, but he told how everybody else felt.
So you thought he was really speaking for people who wouldn't really say it themselves?
Yeah, I think he spoke for everybody. I think he did. Yeah.
Yeah. And so even though we didn't like the way he said, maybe he thought about it again because he did come back and follow up. Because from his comments, people were giving her death threats.
Yeah.
So did you appreciate that he did come back and try to clean it up?
I think he did it, of course, because everybody was probably approaching him too. So I think he did the right thing by apologizing and showing that he didn't mean no harm behind it. So I think he did good.
Yeah. So that was the hype about it. What do you hope comes out of this whole Snoop Dogg, Gayle, Oprah situation?
I think just let the dead be, have their respects and don't bring up any past that, really not doing anything right now. So I think from now, I think just leave the dead alone, you know.
Let them rest in
peace. Especially a legend like Kobe. So.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
All right.
So I'm here with the Millers.
Hey.
Thank you for being with me today. And I'm just really glad that you guys are a couple coming in because, with Vanessa just losing her husband and her son, they was a strong couple before they had those trials and tribulations, but they stuck it out together. So what did you really think about Gayle rehashing that memory for Vanessa right when she lost her husband and her daughter?
I felt that the timing was horrible. I'm like, we haven't even had a chance to even just process the crash or the death or anything, and it's been so long. I mean, it's been almost 20 years since it happened. I just thought the timing was horrible. It was inappropriate.
So I definitely agree with that. Trial happened in 2003, so my whole thing is why now? Why is everybody bringing it up now? Just like I always said, it's been over a decade since this whole thing happened. So you've had all that time to ask the man anything you wanted to ask, going back to that memory of the Colorado situation, the sexual assault case. But then you want to wait till after this tragedy and then bring out everything that you probably wanted to say, but everybody let it go. So that should have been it right then. So why bring it up now?
Yeah.
You could ask all your questions then when he was here.
Yeah, agreed. But then how did you feel about like Snoop and everyone like bashing her? Like, I know we all were like kind of upset, like, why did you even ask that question? But do you feel like his comments kind of took it too far?
I feel like Snoop, some things you say at home and it's not for the world. And I understand, I don't know how close he was to Kobe. So, I understood his anger and frustration, but definitely when you're a public figure, you got to know when you say things and put it out there, the world is either going to hype it up and make it even that much bigger, or if they were with Gayle, then it'd be something different. But those who are supportive of Kobe and Snoop, it was going to be just worse. I don't understand how you don't know that, So, I felt like he should have kept that to himself. Yeah. Vented at the house, vented to his wife and his kids. And, and he could have said a comment, but thought about it, because later he still came and apologized, which, let him know he was probably acting out of hurt and frustration.
Right. So what about the black community? What do you think that, because it seems like we always are showing that we're not sticking together, So in this time when the world was kind of watching us, right. And one of us passed away, we're at odds with each other instead of just coming together as a community. Like, we did have some great tributes to him.
Definitely.
And honored him. But it just seemed like, why did this have to happen?
Again.
And show us not unified, What can we do to just like stop that and prevent that?
Question we've been asking ourselves for years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But most likely the answer is pretty much going to be the same as what we've been talking about for I don't know how long. Is when is it going to stop? When can we get to a point where when we have these tragedies or situations where we can come and embrace each other and let each other know, like, I'm here for you, you can lean on me and everything like that. I mean, I guess it's just that, like you said, with the anger with Snoop and everything like that. But at some point, it's still no real excuse. To be honest, because we've been saying it for years, what is it that we really can do? I'm still trying to even search for answers at time, because the biggest problem is we constantly have no unity, and especially in situations like this is when we need it the most. I guess it's just about, I'm angry, I'm looking for somebody to blame. The moment something happens, I want to fight, whatever the case may be. I mean, it's just a question that we've been constantly asking decade after decade, but yet still no real change yet. Like, what is the real answer? What can we do?
Right.
I personally feel that we have to, feel like the unity is more important than our jobs. The unity is more important than money. When you look at our history and our ancestors, they were willing to walk off jobs, to be unified. They were willing to walk off jobs in order to not talk about another, person of same race. So I feel like, a lot of times, like as far as Gayle, it's like, well, she wanted her job and they gave her this story and she had to do it. Did you, or did you even try to say, what, this isn't appropriate, this not the right timing? Did you even put up a fight? So that's my thing. I feel like, we have to come to a point where we say, no, I'm not willing to do this, and trust and believe that, man, God will open up another door. If she happened to get fired, you can still be proud and say, you know what, I wasn't willing to break up, and bring up these bad memories. I wasn't willing to, hurt his family anymore. I wasn't willing to divide our community. What are we willing to do?
So that's all the hype out of it. What do you guys hope come from this tragedy? Like, what do you want people to learn from it?
To be able to stand and be united no matter what. To know that, man, it's more important that we are unified. It's more important, that we love on one another, and not let the world pick us apart. Not let the world, say, oh, here we go again. There they go again. That's what I'm hoping come from it.
My biggest goal from this, it was, especially when we found out that Kobe had just passed, when the news just came out, the first thing that came to my mind, and this is a goal that I hope that everybody be able to realize, is that it helped me realize, like, Kobe was a huge figure. NBA legend, 5 championships. I mean, there was nothing like it. Probably won't even see another Kobe. Definitely won't see another Kobe again. But then but this tragedy just showed that no matter how much money you have, no matter how big you are, or what kind of juice or pool you may have, that nobody is promised tomorrow. So the biggest goal for me, and it helped, and definitely woke me up even more, is just make sure you walk in with Jesus, because you never know when your time is up. And this really just definitely hit home, because I'm thinking, when we were in the car, I was like, Kobe, I'm thinking he's going to be another 20 years. It was definitely like just an instant shock. So it just reminded me, nobody is promised tomorrow. So make sure that that you have everything right in order with your life.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yes.
Hey, Rashad, thank you for being with us.
Glad to be here with you.
I'm so excited to have you here, because I want to talk about what you feel about the whole Kobe Bryant, his leaving so soon, and then we'll get into some other parts of it.
Okay. Can I go ahead?
Yep.
The whole Kobe thing was a big surprise. Actually, we were in our remnant meeting, and they came through across the phone. Everyone was surprised. It was just so weird to me, because LeBron just went for his record the night before, and then the very very next day he went away. So I was so taken off guard by it. And I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was taken off guard of it too. Like, I was like, is this true? Is this true? And they showed his last text showing, hey, keep it going. Kobe was congratulating LeBron for taking his that title, whichever one it was. And so I was just like, this is not true. This is not happening.
Yeah, I agree too. And then especially too when they said his daughter with him too. I was just like, no, that ain't real. This is all fake news, especially since it was TMZ.
But some people tell me TMZ always get it right. I don't know which one y'all tell us. But this segment is called From Hype to Hope. And so it was a lot of hype even after us trying to even come to the realization that Kobe was passing away. On the 24th is when they're doing his memorials, which is when we're airing this. And so there was a hype about Gayle and her comment and her interview. Did you see that?
Yes, I did.
So what did you think about it?
So I thought it may be not the best time to have brought it up. When I first watched the interview, it seemed like, she spoke a lot of good about Kobe beforehand, and then she kind of brought it up afterwards. So it almost seemed like it was like, oh, yeah, everyone says this and that, but don't forget he did this. And, I took it as a reminder that no matter how much you good you do in the world, someone's always going to bring up the bad. Yeah. But, you can't just have one side of the story. So I do understand you got to know everything about a person, but I just think at the time it was inappropriate.
Yeah, the time was inappropriate. And I watched her actually kind of come on and try to rectify or tell the story and say that, CBS just showed a snippet of it, and so that made her look bad. But then the comments below that was like, well, CBS couldn't show anything that you didn't say. Mm-hmm. So even other people were feeling like, you shouldn't have brought it up. So do you think it was inappropriate that she even brought it up?
I do too, and my friend said the same thing. When I saw that comment about CBS, it was like, well, you approved everything they showed. So I think, as you're talking about someone passing, especially when you're talking to someone who was friends with that person, why would you even put them in a predicament to speak of them shamefully when their family is mourning? There's a time and place for everything.
Yeah, and then the hype was we were asking other guests about Snoop Dogg. Did you see his comments, and what did you think about his comments?
I did see that a little bit, not as much as the original. Actually, that's what made me go back and watch the full interview one more time. And I think, as black people, we shouldn't be attacking her so strongly. But, as people who are close friends of Kobe or knew him very well, they're going to be very defensive because they're in an emotional state right now.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people would say it was emotional. So what did you think about his so-called apology? I don't even know if I heard him say sorry, but I felt like he was reaching out to at least extend like, hey, I didn't mean it like that. And, of course, I don't want any harm to come to you. What did you think about him when he did that?
I felt that was good because I know she said that, and also I know you probably saw the interview with Oprah saying she's getting death threats. So at the same time, we all have comments, and we all shouldn't want to wish harm against people at all. So I think he was from the heart, but we all know Snoop Dogg, sometimes it doesn't come across that way.
Yeah. So we've been talking about the hype. What do you hope comes from this situation?
Everyone looks at the situation, a couple of things. So the past of Kobe that they look at is a good time to reflect on his achievements and how he affected the world and use that as self-motivation for every other person to do the same thing. And at the same time, as we do interviews and we talk about people, we just need to always remember to be sensitive because we don't know how people take bereavement. So we're thinking friends, family, but some of these fans thought of Kobe and felt as Kobe as someone like their immediate family. So you just got to remember it's a time and place for everything and just use better judgment sometimes.
Yep. And I just wanted to say even to the 7, because I know they family are mourning, and we know Kobe's name and Gianna's name, but we always say the 7. So we're praying for that family as well.
Definitely.
I know the world, we might not know your individual names, but you were important to this world too. So we're praying for you as well.
Right. A loss is a loss. No matter who the person is, it's still a loss to the world.
Yep. Thank you, Rashad.
And thank you.
Wow, that was a lot of good information.
Man, that was some good stuff. Yeah. It was good to see those different perspectives.
Yeah, a lot of different perspectives. Made me kind of think a little different too.
Me too. Because you got to get a full spectrum of the things, and I like everybody had some good thoughts about what they hope to get out of it.
Yeah, because even as believers, I was mad at Gayle for what she did, but I didn't want to see her be attacked about that. And so you said something powerful about Galatians.
Yeah, Galatians chapter 6, the Bible says that if someone is taken in a fault, us who are spiritual, it tells us, it gives us instructions, restore such a one, lest you be tempted, right? Yeah. And so we don't know what our response would be in scenarios like that. Yeah. But we always have to be in that posture to restore.
Yeah, so that's what we want for Gayle. We want her to be restored. Snoop to be restored.
Yep.
And Kobe's legend to be restored.
Absolutely, man. Because you can't, we all have different things that happen in our life. We make some bad decisions and things like that. But that bounce back ability, man, the ability to bounce back when tough things happen, or even we make tough decisions that affect our lives and others. Because what happened to Kobe affected his family, you know. And she forgave him. His wife forgave him, man. That's like this beautiful thing called family, where we're able to go through things together and keep the family intact.
Yeah, and that is who we're praying for. We're praying for all of the families this tragedy and they just be able to continue their loved one's memory.
Yes.
And just be restored with their own family.
Absolutely.
This is a great segment.
Great segment. I loved it.
Yep.
Good hanging out with you.
See you later at the next KTV.
Well, he might be only 18 years and 5 months old, but this guy can do everything that the veterans can do and do it better, perhaps. Kobe Bryant.
Please welcome Kobe Bryant.
Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not. 'Cause the drinks bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. Toast to the ones here today. Toast to the ones that we lost on the way. 'Cause the drinks bring back all the memories. And the memories bring back your. There's a time that I remember when I did not know no pain. When I believed in forever, everything would stay the same. Now my heart feel like December when somebody say your name. 'Cause I can't reach out to call you, but I know I will one day. Hey. Everybody hurts sometimes, everybody hurts someday. Hey, hey. But everything gon' be alright. Gonna raise a glass and say, hey.
If you do the work, you work hard enough, dreams come true. Those times when you get up early and you work hard, those times when you stay up late and you work hard, those times when you don't feel like working, you're too tired, you don't want to push yourself, but you do it anyway. That is actually the dream. That's the dream. It's not the destination, it's the journey. If you guys can understand that, then what you'll see happen is that you won't accomplish your dreams. Your dreams won't come true. Something greater will.
Memories bring back your. There's a time that I remember when I never felt so lost, and I felt all of the hatred was too powerful to stop. Now my heart feel like an ember, and it's lighting up the dark. I'll carry these torches for you, but you know I'll never drop. Yeah. Everybody hurts sometimes, everybody hurts someday. Yeah, yeah. But everything gon' be alright. Gonna raise a glass and say, hey. Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not. 'Cause the drinks bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. Toast to the ones here today. Toast to the ones that we lost on the way. 'Cause the drinks bring back all the memories. And the memories bring back your.
You guys will always be in my heart. I sincerely appreciate it. No words can describe how I feel about you guys. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love you guys. I love you guys.
Memories bring back your.
What can I say? Mamba out.